He thought giving back the wallet would cost him nothing. He never imagined it would cost him everything he thought he knew about family. Before we begin, drop your city in the comments, and hit subscribe if you believe the smallest act can change a life. The bus jolted over a pothole so deep it rattled the rusty seats and made the old driver curse under his breath. Jayden flinched, clutching his threadbare backpack tighter to his chest. His stomach ached with the kind of hunger that made his thoughts drift, swirl, and disappear. It was almost 8 o'clock at night. He shouldn't have been on this bus. He should have been home, helping Naomi with her math homework while Mama slept between double shifts at the nursing home. But he'd stayed late at the library trying to finish an essay about people he admired. He'd written about his mom, of course, how she could balance 3 jobs and still hum old church songs while scrubbing the kitchen floor at 2 in the morning. When the bus hit the next bump, something slid across the aisle. At first, Jayden thought it was trash, maybe a crumpled snack wrapper or some old receipt. But then the streetlight flickered through the dirty window and he saw it, a battered brown wallet thick enough to bulge. Jayden glanced around. Just him, an old man asleep near the back and the driver up front. He reached down, fingertips brushing the cracked leather. He should have looked inside. Should have grabbed a 5, maybe a 10, something to quiet the growl in his belly. But instead, he turned it over and read the faded letters pressed into the inside flap. Lawrence Johnson. It sounded proper. Like a man who had a porch and a car that never wheezed smoke when it started. Jayden sighed, stuffed the wallet into his bag and pressed the stop button. He'd find this Lawrence Johnson tomorrow. Maybe he'd get a thank you. Maybe just a nod. Either way, he'd done what his mama always said, God don't bless no thief. The next afternoon, Jayden stood outside a house that didn't look like it belonged in his part of town. The paint was fresh, the porch rails straight and unchipped. A potted plant, alive, not dead sticks, sat on the stoop beside the door. Jayden wiped his nose with the back of his sleeve and made himself breathe. He raised a fist to knock, then froze. In the window's reflection, he saw himself, skinny boy in a hand-me-down jacket, hole in his left sneaker so wide you could see his sock. He looked like someone who shouldn't be here. It's just a wallet, he told himself. Do the right thing. Then go. Knock. It felt louder than he meant it to be. A few seconds later, the door creaked open. The man standing there looked like he'd been carved from old oak. Dark skin creased at the eyes, hair silver and neat, sweater sleeves rolled to his elbows, a wedding band still shining on his left hand though no other voice called from inside. He stared at Jayden without speaking. Jayden's heart stuttered under his ribs. I found this, Jayden said and held out the wallet like a prize he hadn't earned. On the bus. I think it's yours, sir. For a long moment, neither moved. Then the man reached out, fingertips trembling just a little as they brushed Jayden's. He took the wallet, turned it over, opened it. Inside, a folded photo slipped out, just a glimpse of a boy about Jayden's age, grinning wide, arms draped around a man who had to be this Lawrence Johnson, but younger, chest proud and shoulders squared like he could carry the world. Jayden bent to pick it up, but the old man caught it first. His eyes glistened as he pinched the photo's edge. Where did you say you found this, son? His voice cracked in the middle. Jayden shifted his weight. On the 42 bus, sir. I was coming home from the library. It was just there. Lawrence Johnson nodded slowly, as if he'd heard an answer to a question he hadn't asked out loud. Then he stepped aside and said the 3 words Jayden never expected to hear. Come inside, boy. Jayden had never been in a house so quiet it made your breath sound too loud. Inside, the floor shone like you could eat dinner off it. Every picture frame lined up just so on the walls. Old family portraits, a graduation cap on a boy with Lawrence Johnson's nose and eyes. Jayden sat at the kitchen table because Mr. Johnson, he still couldn't think of him as just Lawrence, had asked him to. He tried to say no. Said he had to get home to Naomi and Mama. But the look in the old man's eyes was an anchor that pinned Jayden to the wooden chair. Are you hungry? Mr. Johnson asked. Jayden lied without blinking. No, sir. I ate. Mr. Johnson disappeared into the kitchen anyway, humming under his breath. An old hymn Jayden knew from Sunday mornings that Mama never let them skip, no matter how tired she was. The smell hit him first. Fresh bread toasting, the sharp tang of mustard, the faint sizzling of ham on a skillet. It made Jayden's mouth water so hard he had to turn his head so Mr. Johnson wouldn't see him swallow. A plate clinked in front of him. Not just a sandwich, 2 thick slices stacked so high Jayden's eyes widened. A glass of cold milk beside it. Jayden's throat closed up, shame mixing with gratitude so heavy he almost choked on it. Mr. Johnson sat opposite him, elbows on the table, fingers steepled under his chin. He didn't speak while Jayden ate. He just watched, eyes soft but searching. Halfway through, Jayden mumbled, "Thank you, sir. For this. For everything." Mr. Johnson nodded. "You're a good boy. Not many would have done what you did." Jayden looked down at his plate. Crumbs clung to his fingertips. He thought of Naomi, who would be eating dry cereal alone tonight because he was here instead of buying milk at the corner store. He forced himself to meet Mr. Johnson's gaze. "My mama says we don't keep what ain't ours. She says blessings run dry if you block their flow." The old man laughed, but it was a laugh that sounded more like a sigh wrapped in memory. He reached for the photo on the table, the same one from the wallet. He turned it so Jayden could see it clear now. The boy beside him had a gap between his front teeth, a mischievous tilt to his grin that made him look like he was about to run off and dare someone to catch him. "That was my boy. Marcus." Mr. Johnson's voice dipped so low Jayden leaned forward to hear. "Smart mouth, big heart. We had a fight once. About things I thought I knew better about. He left. Said he didn't need me. I thought he'd come back when he got hungry or cold enough. But..." He traced the boy's face with a finger so gentle it made Jayden's chest ache. "He never did." Jayden's mind spun. He wanted to ask, where did he go? Did you look for him? But he bit his tongue. Some wounds didn't need questions to keep bleeding. Outside, dusk slipped toward night. Jayden knew Mama would be worried, but something in this kitchen, this man's quiet grief and the warmth in his eyes, made him stay rooted in that chair a while longer. Because sometimes, being kind meant sitting with someone's ghosts until they remembered how to breathe. Days turned into a quiet routine Jayden didn't expect. Every afternoon after school, he'd knock on Mr. Johnson's door, sometimes with Naomi tagging along, shy at first but soon giggling when the old man teased her about her missing front tooth. Mr. Johnson taught her how to play checkers. He taught Jayden how to fix a loose doorknob and patch a crack in plaster. Small things, fatherly things. Things no boy like Jayden had ever been shown by a man who wasn't running off or passed out on the couch. Mama asked questions, of course. She frowned when Jayden came home with leftovers wrapped in foil, or when he mentioned Mr. Johnson had pressed a folded 20 into his palm for bus fare. "Don't take his money, baby," she warned, pressing a kiss to Jayden's forehead while he stared at the cracked ceiling above his mattress. "People don't give without wanting back." Jayden promised her, "I won't, Mama. He's just nice. Lonely. That's all." But one Thursday, when the sky split with spring thunder and the rain made the gutters weep, Jayden found something he shouldn't have. He'd gone to Mr. Johnson's bedroom to get an old photo album. Naomi wanted to see more pictures of Marcus, the boy with the gap-toothed grin. Jayden pushed open the closet door and something fell from the top shelf. A cardboard box, taped and retaped so many times the corners were soft. Jayden knew he shouldn't, but he lifted the lid anyway. Inside were papers yellowed with time, letters, legal forms, a copy of a birth certificate. He squinted at the words, tracing them with a trembling finger. Marcus Elijah Johnson. Date of birth. Mother, Carolyn Smith. Father, Lawrence Johnson. Then another paper beneath it. Another birth certificate. Jayden Elijah Smith. Same mother's name. No father listed. Jayden sat on the floor, cold air licking his spine as realization sank in slow and awful. His middle name. His mother's maiden name. The same hospital. The same month, just a year apart. He heard Mr. Johnson's footsteps in the hallway. "Jayden?" Jayden slammed the box shut so fast it bit his finger. He scrambled up, chest heaving. Mr. Johnson paused in the doorway. His eyes fell on the box, then on Jayden's face, pale, betrayed, hungry for a truth he didn't want to taste. "Why didn't you tell me?" Jayden's voice cracked like glass. The old man's shoulders sagged. He looked older than he ever had at that moment. "Because I was a coward, son. Because I failed Marcus. I failed you too. And I thought, maybe I could make it right quietly. Maybe you'd never have to know how wrong I was." Jayden's fists clenched. He wanted to run. Wanted to throw the box at this man who dared to feed him love like scraps under the table. But his feet wouldn't move. "Is it true?" he asked, voice barely a whisper drowned by the storm pounding the roof. Mr. Johnson nodded once. "Slow. Final. You are my blood, Jayden. I should have claimed you long ago." Jayden's legs gave out. He sank to the floor, hugging his knees to his chest, his heartbeat louder than the thunder. Word spread the way rumors always do, fast and cruel. Mr. Johnson filed the papers. A petition for paternity, for guardianship, for the right to give Jayden a name he'd carried in secret for 13 years. Mama cried behind the bedroom door every night. Jayden heard her muffled sobs through the thin wall. She hadn't meant to keep the boy from his father, she swore. She thought she was protecting him from a man too broken by grief to love another son right. Neighbors gossiped on front porches while Jayden walked Naomi to school. He's just after the boy, 'cause he's got no one left to bury him proper when he dies. Maybe he owes back child support, now he wants to look clean before the Lord takes him. Papers came. Court dates followed. Jayden sat between Mama and Mr. Johnson in a cold room where strangers decided where a boy should belong. His mother's hand squeezed his so tight it turned his knuckles white. Mr. Johnson's hand trembled on the cane he used since his knees had gone bad. Jayden hated them both just a little, and loved them both terribly. One night, after a hearing where the judge asked him plainly, "Do you want him to be your father?" Jayden lay awake in the dark. Naomi's soft breathing rose and fell beside him. He whispered to the ceiling, "God, you listening? I didn't ask for none of this. I just wanted to be good. Just wanted to do right. Now everybody crying over me like I'm broken. Please, fix it. Or fix me." On a Sunday heavy with heat, Jayden found himself in the front pew of a small church, shirt collar too tight, eyes burning from no sleep. Mr. Johnson rose to speak. His voice was steady though his legs shook. "Brothers and sisters, today I want to tell you about a boy who returned something he never stole. He returned my hope. He returned my name." He looked down at Jayden, and for the first time Jayden didn't flinch from the weight of it. "I failed my first son. I lost him to my pride. But this boy, my boy, he forgave an old man's silence. He gave me back my family when I thought I'd die alone. And I stand here to say this to every young man who wonders if he's worth loving. You are. And to every old man who thinks it's too late, it ain't. Not if you open your door when kindness knocks." The church was quiet but for the sniffles and the shuffling of feet on old wooden floors. Jayden reached for Mr. Johnson's hand, his father's hand, and squeezed it tight. When the choir rose in song, Jayden closed his eyes. He wasn't hungry anymore. Not for food. Not for belonging. He had both now. He had a father's name. He had a mother's love. He had a sister's laughter. And he knew deep down that sometimes the smallest act, a boy returning a lost wallet, could change not just one life, but a whole family tree that once stood dying in dry soil. Some debts can never be repaid, but some kindnesses repay you in ways you never imagined. This story moved you, share it with someone you love. And remember, the world changes one quiet hero at a time.